when you talked to Jordan Peterson recently, and people should listen to that conversation, it was a fascinating one. I think he almost got emotional on the discussion about universities and your experience with Columbia, because he, like myself, for perhaps different reasons, have a hope for our academic institutions. Some of the most incredible people, some of the most incredible engineering and idea development innovation happens in universities. And so we both deeply care about them. Is there something, so the reason he got emotional, the reason he was kind of hurt is the fact that you were not deeply inspired by your experience at
I think
Columbia.
deeply, it made me dumber. It made
you
me
dumb.
scared. It made me terrified that I had to censor myself in America. Like, are you seriously telling me that you don't ever censor yourself? And when you talk, can you truly say whatever you want about race, about anything, gender? We all censor ourselves. Let's be honest, right? We are all doing that. And that's what I learned. Like, I thought I was coming to a country where never need a censor. Like, first thing my mom taught me growing up in North Korea was, don't even whisper because the birds and mice could hear you. And I thought, okay, now America is truly the land of the free, home of the brave. You can say anything you want. And then you have freedom to change your mind and evolve, right? But the people now demand you to be the perfect version they demand you to be. You cannot change your mind. And then what is the meaning of life if you cannot grow, right? You should feel safe to talk about anything. And then later, okay, I was wrong. But now if you do that, you gotta get penalized for it.
I mean, censorship is a funny thing because you probably should not say dumb things. You should try to say things you want to say in the most eloquent, the most effective way you can. So, I mean, that's what editing is, right?
Yeah.
So there's some level of like being careful with what you say, not because you're afraid of some overarching kind of group of bullies, but you want to be the best version of yourself when you express stuff. But there's some sense where in the university setting, you can put that self-censorship like level down more and say stupid stuff,
Right.
and explain and play, because you should be forgiven for that kind of play, especially when you're discussing difficult aspects of human history, whether that include racism, that include atrocities. I'm still nevertheless sort of hopeful, but at the same time, I'm surrounded by engineers.
Yeah.
So I don't get to interact with people in humanities much. And it seems like there's getting worse.
Thing. It's a good thing.
I don't know. Well, I do sort of interact with psychologists, but they haven't touched on those kinds of topics yet. I still sort of, in defense of psychology, I wish I had more numbers.
Yeah.
But I still feel like most psychology people don't partake in this kind of stuff either. They're just doing excellent research. We're just highlighting, this is what America does well. You're kind of highlighting anecdotal experiences and making a big deal out of them. But that's good because like it's a slippery slope. If those things start to overtake all of academia, it starts becoming a big problem, even in the engineering field. So we should be concerned. But it is truly tragic that somebody who's exceptionally well read like you, whose fire was stoked first with Orwell, that fire should burn bright. Like this should not be, you should be writing many books. You know what I mean? Like, and you talk to Jordan, you know, it's very possible, depending what you want to do with your life, that you'll be a future Jordan Peterson, right? So like that, and Columbia should be a place that enriches your mind, and the fact that it didn't is tragic.
I mean, like the thing, it's like I was there 4 years. It wasn't like I had one class that was bad in one semester.
Yeah.
That was the thing when Dr. Pierre was asking, is there any one class that had no sentiment of this virtue signaling politically right?
Yeah.
There was none.
Yeah.
Entire course. I think I took 126 credits total.
Yeah.
Not even one class. Doesn't matter we were talking about classic art, and that's the thing. I literally thought, okay, I pushed the last like the semester to core like the art and music, right? So I thought this is gonna be the least politically correct class I can take. And then it begins with who has problem with calling this course the Western civilization of art and music, and everyone's like, raising their hands, because like why do we have to learning about this Beethoven, Mozart, the bigots, and or the people like everything ruined by white men.
Yeah.
And it's even music, even these paintings. And as like I didn't raise my hand, everyone's looking at me. How do you not have the problem with West? Like you should hate West. You're Asian. You're so I think that's the thing. Is I think the problem's way deeper than what people think. And it's that's what when I learned, it's like it's not that safe in America. We can go complete to the south. And looking at even Europe, that is like I used to be way more optimistic, like that. But now I actually see, wow, this country can go to south, and we might, if U.S. falls down, right? This is the only country left to battle with the Communist Party in China. We may lose the opportunity to be free ever again as a humanity.
Wow. So, I mean, that puts a lot of value on having these kinds of conversations. It is, I mean, I'm troubled by a lot of things, but like censorship on YouTube, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very annoying to have to listen to Donald Trump all the time, like just like create drama. Like the news cycle was completely drowned out by Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But like banning him from Twitter, it was like that was scary for me, because it's like that's a step towards a direction where you're going to, like, where's that take us? You're going to silence people. Then it's like Jordan Peterson is next.
That's why we need to promote freedom of thinking and speech, right? And one thing that I love about Dr. Peterson is he's psychologist, right? He talks about we think by talking.
Yeah.
That's why when you go to therapy, you talk and then you hear yourself and then you think and you come up to the answer. Mm-hmm. It's so important for humans to talk so we can think. So when they say you cannot talk, means you cannot think. Mm-hmm. And they don't know the consequences of that. And this is why I want the freedom of speech, even though it hurts, ridiculous, sometimes it can be dangerous. But the price, the alternative is so bad that we should take make this trade-off. Everything has a trade-off in this world. And it comes with a sacrifice, right? So I think that's what I want to see in America. But it's unfortunately like the people, like you say, who decides what is hate speech, what is dangerous. That's what I'm getting scared. Because everybody's imperfect.
Yeah.
Right? How do we want to give that power to them? And they're going to decide. Today they might agree with me, say, okay, your speech is good, promotes good. And then they might come back next year and say, your speech is bad. What are you going to do when that happens to you?
We have to almost like get ideas out and then play with them. Yeah. I think what's a really important component of that is forgiving each other for like realizing that we're a different person day by day and certainly years later. And I think some of that is both cultural mechanisms of saying like we forgive each other for wrong ideas, or not wrong ideas, but for who we are, the full evolution of the human being, for the steps we've taken on that evolution, and also creating mechanisms that allow you to allow us to forgive each other. Like, for example, on Twitter is like horrible with this, because one of the main viral ways that people create drama on Twitter is like pulling up an old tweet that somebody said, right? And then saying, oh, this is the guy that thinks that.
Yeah.
But that's like the opposite of the mechanisms we need to forgive ourselves, forgive each other for the things we've said in the past. And so part of that is the cultural, part of this is the technological mechanisms.